What is up, besties? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Scotty Holiday. I'm a queer creator and a huge Star Wars nerd, so if you're into either one of those things, please consider subscribing for more. Today, I'm back with another Bad Batch Season 2 review for Episode 6 called Tribe. In this episode, Omega and the Bad Batch rescue the Jedi Padawan Gungi and team up with the Wookiee village on Kashyyyk to fight off the Trandoshan invaders. I've always loved the Wookiees, their culture, and their connection with nature, so this episode was a real treat. Plus, we got the return of Gungi. I think this episode did a great job of not only packing in a lot of action, but a lot of heart as well, and I really enjoyed it. Before we get into my review, please like the video and leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on episode 6. I'm putting out weekly reviews for each new Bad Batch episode as they air, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. You can check out all my Bad Batch content at the link in the cards and the description as well. Now, let's get into this review. The episode starts out with the Batch arriving at a facility run by the Vanguard Axis smuggling faction, on a mission from Sid to deliver forged Imperial chain codes. When they first arrive, Hunter makes a comment saying they're notorious for illegal smuggling, and this really sets the tone for their time at the facility. While Hunter, Tech, and Wrecker deliver the chain codes, Echo and Omega stay and guard the ship. Omega, being Omega, hears a Wookiee growl and goes to investigate, finding Gungi being tortured by the Vanguard Axis droids. Omega, along with the rest of the Bad Batch, help him fight their way out of the facility, allowing him time to retrieve his lightsaber in the process as well. At one point, the leader of the droids mentions that their buyer requested Gungi alive, so of course I have to wonder who the buyer could be. Outside of a random faction just trying to cash in on capturing a Jedi, I have a feeling the buyer's probably part of the Empire, either wanting Gungi for experiments or for the Inquisitorius. Who do you think the mysterious buyer could be? Let me know down in the comments below. Though hesitant, Gungi leaves with the Bad Batch on the Marauder, but it's only through Omega that he opens up to the rest of them, entrusting the Bad Batch to help him get back to his homeworld of Kashyyyk. I really enjoyed seeing the Batch explain to Omega why Gungi was so apprehensive to trust them due to Order 66 and even apologize to him for what happened. Once they arrive on Kashyyyk, the group heads to a Wookiee village they're familiar with, but encounter a nest of Kinrath along the way. Kinrath first appeared in the Star Wars video game Knights of the Old Republic, so I was really excited to see them brought back into canon in this episode. Instead of killing them, Gungi uses the Force to connect with the Kinrath, showing they're of no threat, and they let the group pass by peacefully. Once they arrive at the coordinates of the Wookiee village, it's revealed to be completely destroyed and burnt to the ground by a group of Trandoshans. The Trandoshans, under their commander Venomore, are seen using leftover Separatist tanks to burn down the villages, as well as giant carved stones throughout the forest. Unfortunately, we never find out the meaning behind these stones, but based on the Wookiee prisoners' reaction, they seem to be pretty important to the Wookiees. Gungi runs out of the bushes to attack the Trandoshans, not only revealing he and the Bad Batch's presence, but also his affiliation to the Jedi Order. He and the Batch take down the Trandoshans, free the Wookiee prisoner, and even take time to put out the fire before it can spread further into the forest. From here, Gungi and the Bad Batch are escorted to a nearby Wookiee village by other Wookiee warriors on giant ape lizards. Once they arrive, they meet their leader, Yana, introducing her to Gungi and explaining their situation. Hunter tells her they came because Gungi was in trouble, saying, Jedi or not, he's still a child, he needs his people. And this line is a huge parallel to the Bad Batch's decision to take in Omega during Season 1. Later on, a group of Trandoshans and Imperial clones find the wreckage of the earlier skirmish, noticing lightsaber marks in one of the tanks, which of course sends them on the hunt for a Jedi. That same evening, as the Batch enjoy a meal with the Wookiees, they're alerted of the large Trandoshan convoy heading for the village, and though they warn them to leave, Echo actually convinces the Bad Batch to stay and fight due to the Wookiees' allegiance during the Clone Wars. Next, in one of my favorite scenes in the episode, the Wookiees kneel down next to a tree, placing their hand on its roots. Hunter tells Omega they're asking the trees for help, with Tech explaining the Wookiees believe the planet belongs to the trees and that they're allies in the upcoming fight. I really love this scene not only for the world building we get for the Wookiees, but also the way the Bad Batch explained the act to Omega. Regardless if the clones don't have the same beliefs as the Wookiees, they acknowledge and respect their culture. Once they finish communing with the trees, Gungi tells Hunter the trees have a plan, and instead of brushing him off, the Batch follow along without question. The Bad Batch, along with the Wookiee warriors, ambush the Trandoshan convoy, taking them by surprise and slowly drawing them into the Kinrath nest. As they continue to fight off the Trandoshans, Commander Venomore goes after Gungi alone. Gungi and Venomore eventually become surrounded by a nest of Kinrath. Gungi lays down his lightsaber, showing the Kinrath he is no threat to them. However, sensing his aggression towards them, the Kinrath attack Venomore, spinning him into their web, taking him back up into the trees, and I can't lie, I cackled when I saw them take him up into their web because he honestly deserved it, and it was just a really funny way to see him taken down. This sequence really felt like nature reclaiming the land, and speaking of, this entire episode had a very similar theme as one seen throughout the Clone Wars series of nature versus machine, which makes sense since this episode borrowed a lot from a previously cancelled Clone Wars arc. In the final scenes of the episode, we see the Bad Batch and the Wookiees clean up the destruction from the battle and share another meal back at the village. Hunter and Yana watch Gungi and Omega outside communing with the trees and share probably my second favorite moment in the episode. Hunter tells Yana they're both kids, but they don't get to be, but Yana tells him, when a young one leaves, the trees weep, but when they return, the trees sing. As this child has found his new home, perhaps one day we will all find a new path. And I really loved the ending of this episode in Yana's words because not only did they relate to Gungi's experience and reclaiming his culture, but to the theme of the entire Bad Batch series. All in all, I really loved this episode and I'm so glad we got to see the Bad Batch successfully complete a mission. One of the best things about this episode is that they didn't help Gungi and the other Wookiees because they had to, they helped them because they wanted to. This is something Echo has spoken about multiple times so far in Season 2, so it was really great to see the Bad Batch really making a difference in the galaxy, even if just in this small corner. But what did you think of Episode 6 and what do you think will happen next? Next week we're getting 2 episodes, so I can only imagine it's going to be something big. Let me know down in the comments below or hit me up on Twitter so we can chat more about it together. I'm putting out weekly reviews for each new Bad Batch episode as they air, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. You can catch up with all my Bad Batch videos at the link in the description and on the end screen of this video as well. Please consider checking them out and leaving a like. I really appreciate all of your support. To keep up with all my Star Wars content, make sure to subscribe and consider following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at ScottyHolidaySW for all my latest updates. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.